The Eurozone Crisis by Aaron Nesbitt. The Eurozone is an economic entity of 17 European countries combined through a unified currency, the euro, and free trade between nations. In 2009, it entered into a multi-year debt crisis initiated by the countries Greece, Ireland, Portugal, and Spain's financial systems, which were on the brink of collapse, threatening to bring down with it the entire Eurozone and thus having a dramatic economic impact on the entire global financial system. This collapse was partly triggered by the 2008 burst of the U.S. housing bubble, which constricted the amount of money banks had to loan, thus affecting these European nations' ability to borrow. These nations were unable to pay or refinance their current debts, which they had used to spend to stimulate their economies and run their countries. With this borrowed money, they were creating jobs, lowering taxes for their citizens, and paying pensions and other welfare programs. To understand the root cause of this issue, we must take a step back. We must first understand the dynamics of the Eurozone. The Eurozone was operating under two economic policies that were not unified. The first monetary policy was regulated by the European Central Bank, which controls the monetary policies for the Eurozone, regulating how much could be borrowed and at what interest rates. The second fiscal policy was left to each individual country. So while some countries might have a conservative fiscal policy, other countries such as Greece and Spain were liberal in their spending to create jobs, to lower taxes, and to pay for programs and benefits that would be popular for their citizens. Unfortunately, Greece, who until being brought into the Eurozone, had a poor credit rating and was forced to borrow such funds at high interest rates, was now able to borrow money at much lower interest rates from banks based on the credit of other countries like Germany, who strengthened the euro. In summary, the individual countries' fiscal policies did not match the European Central Bank's monetary policies. Thus, these countries were spending their borrowed money rather than collecting the taxes needed to support their government programs. High-risk countries were borrowing from other high-risk countries, creating an interconnected web of debt and possible default. If one country, such as Greece, were to default, it would cause a domino effect of other countries not having the finances they need to repay their debts to creditor nations. If these high-risk countries couldn't pay back the banks the loans, their stronger European allies would have to step up, thus increasing the high-risk countries' ability to borrow. As a compromise, some of the strongest European economies, like the United Kingdom and Germany, agreed to help these other nations for fear that a collapse would impact all European nations and throw the continent into a deep depression. From this chart, you can see the extreme amount of debt created in the Eurozone, with 2007 debt identified in green and 2010 debt during and after the crisis identified in blue. Greece, for instance, went from $100 billion in debt to over $140 billion in debt in just 3 years. Some of the costs created from the Eurozone crisis include high unemployment rates, higher taxes, lower accumulated taxes from the lack of jobs, political unrest and rioting in countries which had previously enjoyed rich and generous government programs, an impact on relations between European countries, and a financial impact and fear felt throughout the world of a possible collapse of the Eurozone. Some of the benefits of the Eurozone collapse included governments having to rein in their spending, a restructuring of how the Eurozone financial system operates, countries having to work hand in hand, working together to lower debt, and establishing a Europe on firmer financial ground, all the while strengthening the euro. The solutions that need to be implemented to ensure that this crisis does not happen again include a union of monetary and fiscal policies. This can only be done through a unified regulatory committee, which would have the power to establish budgets and limits for all countries. It would provide this central agency with a large amount of political power, but it leaves many to believe that partnering nations would lose their sovereignty. In a sense, Europe, or more specifically the Eurozone, would operate like the United States of America. It has been suggested that if this centralized authority or regulatory committee does not come to fruition, a similar crisis is destined to happen again. So another possible solution for these would be for these countries to break up and become financially independent once again. Each country would revert back to its own fiscal autonomy, while its monetary policies would be based on each country's respective credit ratings and financial status. In the short term, implications of the crisis include distrust within the Eurozone members. High risk countries would have to significantly reduce their austerity programs and become more financially responsible. Healthier economies, such as the United Kingdom and Germany, would need to step in and provide large bailout packages to protect the continent from falling into further recession and possible financial collapse.
The long-term implications of the crisis include a possible breakup of the Eurozone. If members do not allow a centralized committee to retain both fiscal and monetary policies for its members, it will have no choice but to dissolve its current agreement. If they do remain and allow for a centralized committee, many believe that these countries will lose their sovereignty, but the economy will remain strong as higher-risk nations are forced to adopt more fiscally responsible practices.
Is going to crash, and it's going to fall pretty hard because markets are ruled right now by fear. Investors and the big money, the smart money, I'm talking about the big funds, the hedge funds, the institutions, they don't buy this rescue plan. They basically, they know the market is toast. They know the stock market is finished. The euro, as far as they're concerned, they don't really care. They're moving their money away to safer assets like treasury bonds, 30-year bonds, and the US dollar. So it's not going to work.
We keep hearing that whatever the politicians are suggesting, and admittedly it's all been rather woolly so far, isn't right. Can you pin down exactly what would keep investors happy, make them feel more confident?
That's a tough one. Personally, it doesn't matter. See, I'm a trader. I don't really care about that kind of stuff. I go with what if I see an opportunity to make money, I go with that. So for most traders, it's not about we don't really care that much how they're going to fix the economy, how they're going to fix the whole situation. Our job is to make money from it. And personally, I've been dreaming of this moment for 3 years. I have a confession, which is I go to bed every night. I dream of another recession. I dream of another moment like this. Why? Because people don't seem to maybe remember, but the 30s depression, the depression in the 30s, wasn't just about a market crash. There were some people who were prepared to make money from that crash. And I think anybody can do that. It isn't just for some people in the elite. Anybody can actually make money. It's an opportunity. When the market crashes, when the euro and the big stock markets crash, if you know what to do, if you have the right plan to set up, you can make a lot of money from this. For example, hedging strategies is one. Then investing in bonds, treasury bonds, that sort of stuff.
If you could see the people around me, jaws have collectively dropped at what you've just said. I mean, we appreciate your candour. However, it doesn't help the rest of us, does it, or the rest of the Eurozone?
I would say this. Listen, I would say this to everybody who's watching this. This economic crisis is like a cancer. If you just wait and wait thinking this is going to go away, just like a cancer, it's going to grow and it's going to be too late. What I would say to everybody is get prepared. This is not a time right now to wishful thinking the government is going to sort things out. The governments don't rule the world. Goldman Sachs rules the world. Goldman Sachs does not care about this rescue package, neither does the big funds. So actually, what I would actually tell people, I want to help people. People can make money from this. It isn't just traders. What they need to do is learn about how to make money from a downward market. The first thing people should do is protect their assets, protect what they have. Because in less than 12 months, my prediction is the savings of millions of people is going to vanish. And this is just the beginning. So I would say be prepared and act now. The biggest risk people can take right now is not acting.
Alessia Rastani, thank you very much for talking to us.
Do you dream about the economy at night?
I try not to.
Yeah.
Nightmares.
18 minutes past 11.